My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Jango Fett. Yes, here we have Jango Fett in his Black Series appearance. This is a 6-inch Jango Fett. You can see a nice image of Jango Fett wearing his helmet. We do have Jango Fett right here in the packaging. You can see his helmet. He is currently holding one of his blasters, and his other blaster is right here on the side. On this side of the packaging, we see he is the 15th figure of the Black Series. And on the back, we have a little read-up that says Jango Fett. In the final years of the Republic, Jango was regarded as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. Fett is covered in sleek armor and a suit that conceals his scarred face. And then we do get it in different languages. It is, once again, he is a 15th figure. It does say Jango Fett right here on the side. Really happy I found Jango Fett, so what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him open up, and then we'll go on to the rest of his review. So sit tight, everyone. And here we have Jango Fett posing out of the packaging. Now let's get a good 360 of this guy. Right off the bat, I'm going to say there's some good things and some bad things about this figure, and we'll get more onto that as we have a look at the figure. Before we go on to some of his details, let's actually show off his accessories. He does come with 2 of his blasters, which can fit nicely into the holster. As you can see, the other one's snug in the holster, and let me just actually zoom in so you guys can see the detail on this gun, and the cat just walked in. Hey, Toby. But anyway, really nice detail. It is silver plastic, and you can see there is some gray paint on there. From my understanding, wasn't Jango Fett's gun all silvered out, like it didn't have this handle? Even Toby agrees, but I think that it was supposed to be all silver. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. But it does fit nicely in his hand. The only problem is it's made of this really gummy plastic. I don't know why Hasbro makes guns out of gummy plastic. But as you can see, it does fit nicely in his hand. His hand actually fits on the trigger. And you can pose him like that, so he does come with 2. Because, you know, at the time he was wearing the jetpack he only had 1, which I'm pretty sure if they only gave you 1, that would be a rip-off. But, as you can see, he does come with his second one. Let's just get that out of the holster. Same thing, he can hold it in this hand, same way. Let's take his jetpack off. And as you can see, his jetpack does peg into his hole, as well as clip onto his back. Really nice jetpack, although I think the seams could have been done a little bit better. Paint-wise, still really good, and you can see it is actually just silver paint. It's not silver plastic. Really nice. Maybe giving us some attachments down here would have been nice to, you know, just to give us like some display options, but overall, really nice jetpack. And for his final accessory, he does come with his helmet, which, if you didn't notice that in the package, it is a removable helmet. It is not an alternate head, so it just slides right over. It's a really snug fit, actually. You can actually hear that creaking as I put it on. But gorgeous helmet. They did a really good job of actually making his helmet and making it work without his head being too small or making the helmet oversized. It does have a dent in it. That isn't a factory error. That is actually accurate to the movie, especially when he was wearing this jetpack. After fighting Obi-Wan, he did have a dent in his helmet. Really nice details on the helmet. This is where I draw my first problem with the figure. The washing on his helmet and armor is spotty at best. You can see from this angle, it looks really fantastic. But then we get to this side and it's just completely clean. There is no wash whatsoever. Even down here, no wash. On the back, nothing. Even on this side, there's nothing. It's only right here on this part of his helmet that they actually made some wear and tear, which is kind of disappointing. I really would have wanted it all around his helmet, or just have it flat chrome. Okay, and let's actually go on to the figure now. Some of his details. Stand him up. And I was talking to my brother about this, and this is a really good face sculpt for Jango Fett. Really looks like Tamara Morrison. The only problem I have with this head sculpt, if you look on my finger, there's a little scar there. There are no scars on this Jango Fett. He is supposed to have scars all over his face. Well, not all over his face, but he's supposed to have scarring on his face. Mine does have a bit of a paint blemish right here, but it's nothing too drastic. I said, really good head size. They didn't shrink the head, and the helmet isn't oversized. This is actually one figure that they did helmets really well, which I'm really glad about. You can see there is wash all along his armor right here, especially on his shoulder pads. And then we get down to his thigh pieces, and they're clean, as well as the cod piece. It's also clean. Why didn't Hasbro, even on the gauntlets, well, this one has a little bit of a wash, but not on the back. Hasbro should have done a little better job in making the armor look either worn or new, because it kind of bothers me that he has worn parts here, but then it looks like the armor is brand new here. Even on the back, I know that the jetpack is covering it, but even right here where you're not going to see it on the jetpack, there's no wash. It's just straight silver plastic. Hasbro should have looked into this, because his jumpsuit has a wash on it. Everywhere on his jumpsuit there's wash. Why couldn't they do that on his armor pieces where it needed it the most? I don't know, it's just really strange on why Hasbro went that route. But anyway, like I said, the helmet does fit on his head nice and snug. And it doesn't look too bad. It actually looks good. Even the antenna, which I would be careful not to play with that too much, because it does feel like it can snap. He does have quite a bit of articulation. His head is on a ball joint. It turns left and right, up and down. Pretty good. Some really slight side to side, and that's not the helmet moving, it's actually his head. He does have a neck hinge, as you can see. You can hinge his head down or have him look all the way down. The only problem is it gets really hard posing his head, you know, looking off to the side, because the ball joint really doesn't offer too much play, you know, side to side, which is a little unfortunate. His arms on a ball joint go out to about that far. Do a full 360, and then this is where his articulation is a bit different, because it's not the same on both arms, and let me explain that. He has a bicep swivel right here on his right arm. He has an elbow joint, as well as an elbow swivel, and let's see if I can't move that. There we go. You can see he does rotate at the elbow, which if you don't believe me, just look at the cords, how they're not turning and moving. And then he does have a hinge in the wrist as well as a swivel, which is kind of tight on mine. I'm actually pretty scared that this hand is going to break off eventually. On this arm, he also has that bicep swivel right up here. The swivel at the elbow right there. It also spins and bends and spins. And this is one problem I have. This cable is not long enough, so if you bend his elbow, it does pop out. But elbow joint there, swivel at his elbow, and bicep. But we also get another swivel right here in his forearm. This gauntlet actually spins. So it's a lot of articulation on his left side, which is kind of surprising. He does have a swivel in the wrist as well as a hinge here. His torso is on a ball joint, so it can bend, do everything you need it to. Not the greatest range of movement, but it's there. Excuse me. Legs do go forward and back as well as out, but they only go out to about that far, and his articulation is a little hindered by his holsters, because those, like Han Solo's, are sculpted to the belt and then wrap around his legs. He does swivel at the boot. Once again, articulation is hindered by his, well, swivel at the thigh, excuse me, not the boot. Once again, hindered by his holsters. Double jointed knees, which gives you a lot of range of movement. A hinged ankle, as well as rocker ankles, so you get pivot on that ankle. You can get him in a lot of nice dynamic poses, which it's Jango Fett. You're going to need to pose him dramatically. So that's Jango Fett for you. So what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get them posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. So sit tight, everyone. So here we have Jango Fett posed for my final thoughts. Overall, really, really glad I picked this guy up. This guy is one of my favorite figures right now. He is just so awesome. He does have some problems, like I said, with the wash, and then this cable just doesn't want to stay in. It's not even long enough. But I'm willing to overlook that because he is such a well-done figure and really well executed. If Hasbro had been making the Star Wars figures like this since the initial Black Series run, I would have been all over them, and unfortunately I don't have Boba Fett, I don't have Darth Maul, and those are probably the two that I want the most, and they're pretty pricey right now. But if you can find Jango Fett, I highly, highly recommend you pick him up. He is well worth the purchase. If you can find him in stores, definitely pick him up. He has a buttload of articulation, he has a lot of detail in him, and that's something you just don't see in figures today. I actually picked him up at Walgreens. Walgreens is starting to carry Marvel Legends, DC Multiverse, WWE. If you can find this guy, I really, really say do not pass on him. You will probably hate yourself if you pass up on this guy. So if you can find him, definitely pick him up. He's a must-have for any Star Wars collector. And his King of Dragons 5000 saying, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, tell me what you think of this Jango Fett. Don't forget to check out all my other Star Wars reviews, all my other action figure reviews. If there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments and I will try my best to review it if it fits into my collection. And with that being said, I'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone.
My dreams are